have a gavel, y'all, so. All right, we call this meeting of the Curriculum Advisory Committee to order. I'm going to go ahead, and if Ms. Ruby, if you could go ahead and take a roll call, please.
Okay. Christina Torres? Villa Torres?
Not here.
Tanya? I can't, I need some help with this last name here. Bilak? Bilak?
She's not on the committee.
So
I'm taking her
I think that's
Oh,
the
she's-
old one.
Okay.
So if you want to use today's agenda, I
Oh,
think that's the
there you
most
go.
up-to-date
I was about to
roster.
say, I didn't even see.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, this is last week, all right. Okay. April Jackson?
Not here.
Diane Knight?
Me?
Daniel Lopez?
Here.
Debbie Mann?
No.
Wajid Muhammad? Did I pronounce that right?
Not here.
Christina Morris?
Oh, thank you.
Adi Anise.
She's not
Thank
here.
you.
She's not here.
Okay, how do you need, all right. Katie Woodall
Here.
and Nelly Hernandez?
Fantastic. So welcome,
And, who is this, Leon, is this Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
We got Scott. So Frank, the attorney, and John's not here today.
Okay, all right.
So thank you so much, everybody, for being here this evening. I know everybody's calendars are really tight. We got the agenda recently from Ms. Tanya, and our chair tonight could not make it, so I will be the acting chair for tonight. Quick introduction real quick. We have Ms. Katie Woodall. She is new to the advisory committee. Katie, if you want to take a few seconds, introduce yourself.
I'm Florida. I lived in Celebration. I've been here about 7 years, 2015. I have a fourth grader and a first grader at Celebration Key Elementary. And pretty active in the school with the PTA. And here I am.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ms. Last name, Katie Woodall. Woodall. Thank you. So I know we haven't met since I think March. We didn't meet last month. Again, I just appreciate everybody being here tonight. First order here on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from March 3rd, 2022. Do I have a motion by anybody? Perfect. Do I have a second? Second. Fantastic. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Show the motion, or show the item favorable. So Scott, we see here that the next item on the agenda is the best Bezos response. Now, we had originally talked about 2 months ago, we were supposed to have a Bezos representative here. Scott, if you want to go ahead and brief us on that.
So they called on Tuesday, and we had asked for questions from the committee, and we sent y'all's questions about the. I spoke with them based on our March meeting, or was it our February meeting? I wasn't at the March meeting.
It was March.
At our March meeting, and I got y'all's input and talked to them on the phone in regards to what we were looking for. And then they sent out another response. They wanted additional questions from the board or from the committee. And we sent them their committee. So these are responses to your questions that were sent back to them. They indicated that they were heavily involved in implementation process here and in other places, and they were unable to attend tonight. So kind of talks through being that teachers will be working all year, what is the base salary? So they talk through their base salary and benefits.
Yeah, so that was one of my questions that I had asked everybody. So that was my biggest thing. How are they getting, what pay are they getting compared to our actual teachers? I know they work all year round though, instead of the teachers that usually work 9 to 10 months with the school district. Let's see, the next one was what health benefits are offered.
Just to add some clarification to this, our starting salary at the district level is $47,000.
For the teachers?
For the
Regular
teachers.
teachers?
First year teachers start at $47,000. So for full year, starting at 52, that is not a whole lot, but
Yeah, they're working the extra, they're working through the summer. 47,000 school district.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That, I know we were looking to get briefed by them today, so I just wanna run through this real quick. So I think somebody had asked what health benefits are being offered by the Bezos Foundation. Is Bezos Foundation correct in the verbiage? We provide high-quality benefits that contribute to the health and well-being of employees and their families to anyone who work at least 25 hours a week. So they get medical, dental, and vision since starting the very first day of employment. They also have a 401k plan for their employees, life insurance, and employment assistance, tuition reimbursement. Now, are those things that the school district of Osceola also offer, for example? So tuition reimbursement, PTO, vacation time, depending on the status of the employee, correct?
Depending on the status of the employee. And something else is they're offering their own 401k plan where our teachers would fall under the Florida retirement system.
Can I just back
Yeah.
up 1 second? I just want to confirm, this is the Montessori type academy that's
Yes.
trying
Yes.
to
Yeah.
get a charter?
Yes.
Actually, it's not a charter situation. This is a private organization who is leasing property from the school district to run their own private Montessori program. It's a pre-K, year-round, all-day program for pre-K.
And it's free and the kids are being selected,
Right.
right?
Right, there's a lottery.
Lottery,
It's a
right?
lottery.
A lottery.
And what grade does it go up to?
Pre-K.
It's pre-K, yeah.
It's
3 to 5.
It's
3 to
strictly
5.
Five, yeah.
pre-K, correct?
Yes, pre-K.
All right, so then I see here, somebody had asked the qualifications in regards for the teachers that they're gonna have, so I think, I didn't ask this question, but I also feel confident, like, okay, they're not just getting any old Joe Schmo off the street teaching these pre-K kids here. So they see here, formal education qualifications, candidates must satisfy one of the following 3 options to meet this qualification. They either have to have a bachelor's degree or higher in one of the following areas: early childhood education, pre-K, or primary education. Oh, wow, that's a lot. So you all have that in front of you? And then they can also have an associate degree in early childhood education, child developmental, an associate degree. So what I'm seeing here,
Yeah. I
I'm
have a
not-
question.
go ahead, Christina, of course.
Why do we want to know this?
I was wondering what
I think I asked this last time, like, what role does this particular committee play in asking these questions? I'm struggling with that.
So I think more, it should have been, because now those questions
None of
really
these are
don't pertain
curriculum.
to curriculum. Now, their Montessori program would.
Montessori is a
right.
curriculum.
Montessori is a curriculum. And if we go to that question, which is the last question, their curriculum is taught, it's a modified curriculum, a modified Montessori curriculum, and y'all can read the
I'm sorry, but
response.
there were other concerns too, as far as the kids, the community understanding this whole thing, like the community that we represent or that we talk to, you know what I mean?
So that makes sense to me, like, as a whole, just making sure the community understands.
Right.
I'm just trying to, and I know we did goals and all that stuff, but struggling to make sure we don't get lost in the sauce with what we're supposed to be doing here, and this is lost in the sauce for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not curriculum.
But Montessori is
Yeah.
the curriculum.
So, but it's a private organization that's leasing.
For
For-
$12 a year.
Exactly.
Oh, it's really like a political,
Yeah.
more of a stance that you can take either way. Is it what we are chartered to do? And I feel like it's no.
So
But that's
this advisory committee doesn't have any oversight over them. They were just trying to be a community partner and inform us, this is who we are, we're gonna be using your space, we're gonna be in your community, we're gonna be teaching your kids, and this is what we're gonna be teaching them.
and that makes sense.
And that makes sense, in the sense, I think, so. I could have asked the question, any of us could have asked the question, what exactly do you teach? What does your curriculum actually look like? That would have been a better question to ask them, in my
Is
opinion.
it though?
Well, I think that was one of my questions.
So, but
So,
getting back to this, it's private. We don't have any
Oversight.
oversight. So is it,
We've already approved it, so it's a done deal.
if
And
we
it's a
don't,
lottery system, so theoretically, a parent is choosing whether they want
exactly.
to,
It's another choice.
for a VPK
Right.
program.
Right, it's another choice.
Again, just part of the larger school board and what they do, not really our charge here and what we do. So just trying to focus so that, A, we all have value as we do this, and then B, the community knows what value we bring and what we're really doing, and focus, especially with all this like library books and, other stuff that I think will be more relevant. Worried about someone, it's already a done deal. They paid, just like any other private organization. Like, if I don't want my child to go there, I'm
Now,
don't.
my question,
Just
Scott.
my personal.
No, I totally
And
understand.
I think I said that before when he was
I know-
saying,
Yeah, I think you did.
sorry.
No, thank you, Christina. So from all the, same thing she said, I have my questions too, like, okay, what are we doing with curriculum here? Is a Bezos representative ever going to actually come up and address the school board? In the sense as, this is who we are, this is what we're gonna do, because they haven't shown up. I think they were supposed to show up the last meeting, they didn't. Then they said they were coming this meeting, they didn't. I just didn't know if there was plans for somebody to address the school board themselves.
We can ask again.
I mean, is that a question from us or is that a question from Danny, the citizen, though? Because I don't care. Because to me, the school board has agreed to lease their space. And then back to, is your name Katie?
That's me.
Katie's point, it's really up to me as a parent whether I want my child to go into this lottery and go to Bezos school. Should some of this information probably help with the community that's asking, is interested? Possibly. I say put it out there. It's public record. Maybe someone else wants to know, but
Theoretically, the district,
yeah.
the district, when proposed with, from them that they want to rent space, did their due diligence with whatever standards they have for who they will rent space to. I think focusing back on how is this applicable to this committee?
I mean, we met a couple of times and I don't feel like I've done any curriculum advisory committee stuff.
I think we had one.
I think the math thing was
math was the-
spot on. I think she did a fantastic job, and I felt like I was knowledgeable on how they get to the standards and can explain that out in the community, and felt like that is purpose. That is what we are here to do.
That is exactly our role.
And so,
Or your role.
I'm just saying,
I'm just
let's just get back
answer
to.
questions.
So do we feel that we are being delegated things that are not in our?
How did we get this though? I don't know how Bezos. I don't I think I said it last time.
I saw. I think I saw.
If
two
y'all don't
agendas
know
ago, and
already, I'm not that quiet, but we're very busy.
Was this
We only
delegated
have
from
an
the
hour.
school board to us, or?
No, I don't think so.
Actually, they requested, the school board requested that, that Bezos come and answer our questions.
Why? Who said we had questions?
Some of us
They wanted
There were
us to
questions,
ask.
there were questions in
I had
common.
questions, because I'm concerned about the curriculum.
Yeah, so am I, and I represent communities.
So
I'm what?
People that
All
don't.
right.
One at a time, y'all. One at a time.
So and not trying to be disrespectful in any way, so don't take it that way, but you guys are representing communities and you are interested in the curriculum. Help me understand how that as a private organization versus anybody, other than they're leasing space and it's public, taxpayer
Well,
money.
they're operating under the auspice of the public school. Because they won't be going to the VPK that Osceola offers. They would be going to this instead.
So, but what's the difference if I send my child to VPK at a daycare, a private school daycare?
Well, that is your choice,
Same thing with this, right?
but they're operating under
No, he's
Osceola
saying
County.
that they are
Public
just leasing
Schools.
space and what they do with
It's the
it.
same thing as a private pre-K
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
But again, they are working in one of our, in two
That's
of
the
our
only
buildings,
difference.
Right, that's the only difference.
They're in a
It's-
brick and mortar that is owned by the
That's
district.
all-
But
other than that-
They write their own
The rules.
everything.
They pick up.
So then, I mean, frankly,
I
it doesn't sound
agree.
like we have any say so as
But
far as
I,
their curriculum.
but I don't also want
we do
to,
not.
I
We
don't
don't
want
have
to
any.
discount,
Okay, we
right?
don't need to see them, because
But-
it's a done deal.
It is a done deal, but honestly, outside of this, there's obviously a community, right? You say you're
There
answering
are
to
parents that
community.
don't understand all this stuff.
So that's kind of the public.
You know what I
So
mean?
Their premise is, and the reason Bezos is starting these academies is he had a positive experience as a child of a single family growing up in poverty, and he wants to give back to communities that have high poverty in them to give an element of choice for free for parents to choose to go to our VPK program, a private pre-K program, or the Bezos Academy. It's just
I
another
just think it's a public
choice option.
outreach
Right.
issue that the
And-
community doesn't understand and maybe
So
needs to
that's a
get.
Bezos thing then.
And, right.
I think it's a both, I think it's both, right? Because the only reason why the community cares any different is because it's a public building.
As they open their
Where there might be
lottery.
confusion about,
Exactly.
What is
are
a
my
Montessori?
taxpayers paying for, my
Exactly.
tax dollars paying for this? That might be where the confusion
Exactly.
is.
And
And
also
at
what
the end of the
they're
day,
being
that's,
taught.
it's not.
And what?
And what they're being
But the
taught.
thing is you don't care what
Well, we
gingerbread.
do care.
No, I mean,
But you don't have
when
the
you
right
are
to go to
passing
the private
Right,
Montessori
right,
that's in
right. No, I
celebration.
agree with that.
Exactly.
We have
And
two
they've-
private Montessoris.
They've been there forever.
And if you choose to
Right,
research and go into what they're teaching, that's 100% on your own accord.
right, right.
I happen to have sent my children to the private
Yeah.
Montessori in our town before they were eligible for public school. But
That's
that,
the
I
piece
don't
that I'm
think,
talking about.
as far as, to the degree that we get to care about what they're teaching in that class, in that school, it
Yeah.
is only as a matter of whether you choose to send your child there. But it is, I don't believe that as a committee, we get to, because it's a completely privately.
Yeah, and it's
run-
done. Unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
already done.
So it doesn't.
I think
actually-
if the community
should
had
drop
an
it.
issue. No, I think we should drop it, but I think
I don't think
just
we need
me
to discuss
speaking,
it.
So,
if we had a issue with
I'm listening
it,
to
why
everything
didn't get
everybody's
it
saying.
private?
There's a lot of ideas here. My biggest thing is this was supposed to be them coming to inform us.
Right.
This is who we are, this is what we do, and we had a couple questions. They answered our questions. This is the second time now they haven't shown up. I say, we drop it. If they want to come back, they can talk to
They
the
can
school
talk.
board. They can
Yeah.
go to the school board, and if they want to do public comments, they want to give a presentation, they can do it, so.
I say we drop it, and then I say that if someone wants them to come back, and I'll just speak for me, let's make it relevant to this. Otherwise, maybe they need to come and do a presentation so that the public that are interested can understand exactly that, because I think people think it's just another it's a public Montessori school, but the way you described it, it's just like if I lease my house out to whoever.
So,
And I do think the district, having recently done VPK, and we did it at our public school with the lottery system, but the district hosts information, there's lots of information. So families that are getting into that age range of the VPK or looking into the programs, there is some personal responsibility for looking into which institution, which location works best for you, all of that.
And I can add that our VPK programs are becoming full at this point.
Oh,
So
yeah. I can-
because of our growth, they're becoming full, so this is another option.
I was up
it
at
is-
6 a.m. the day that the lottery went open, and I didn't get the spot initially for my son.
And
It's very common.
as they open their lottery, they're going to be doing public outreach and advertising and talking through what their program is and why.
And I think it's important, because if you're at a public school, right, because they're going to be on the campus with another school, that the community knows that this isn't your only, you don't have to, it's not a public, so I think that's really a PR thing, but that's just me.
so any final comments?
Sorry.
We're,
Sorry to,
no, you're absolutely
I
fine.
think we're all on the same page.
yeah,
So-
I agree.
There's no action items tonight here for any of the agenda items, so just let it be known that there was the general consensus of this committee to kill the Bezos topic going forward.
Thank you, but.
We said thank you for the information.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you for the
Full
information.
board and we'll come.
Correct. Thank you. So the next item on our agenda tonight is math adoption. So I didn't see anything here in my packet. Scott, are we getting just an update real quick?
I'm just going to give you an update. I think there was a question about math adoption since some of the books were not approved. And basically what we've done at this point, and we adopted McGraw-Hill K-12, and y'all received the information from Andrea Juergens in March or February, whichever night it was. And the board approved it and that sort of thing. And then the list came back, and McGraw-Hill was not one of those texts. Not all of the materials were selected. So what we've done is we have purchased the ones that are on the list that are selected. So currently, we have ordered the secondary versions of the McGraw-Hill, which is sixth grade accelerated, 7th grade regular, Algebra 1, Geometry honors, Algebra 2 honors, Math for college algebra, and pre-calculus, and AP calculus, and AP stats. And then the ones that are on hold at the secondary level are 8th grade pre-algebra. And we're holding off on a K-5 adoption at this point. So, because the elementary is, and we're not exactly sure why, but we kind of are assuming that it has to do with they're not necessarily aligned to the best standards. They're more aligned to the Common Core standards. And the publishers are in the process of appealing the state's decision and working with the state to correct the deficiencies to see if we're able to go ahead with our adoption. Possible solutions are waiting a year, because there's a grace period year to adopt. You can adopt next year. For K-5, sticking with what we have and using supplement, because our curriculum unit plans, which y'all received information on, are based on the standards. And the math text is usually more supplement than it is a cover-to-cover type situation. So we may stick with the current program that we're using, which is Savast, which is now on the list, but it's the older version. Or we may wait and find out another week and see if McGraw-Hill is approved by the state based on the appeal, and then move forward with that.
Hasn't there been like 3 that have changed their
Yes.
3, but it wasn't McGraw-Hill? I
This
can't
one-
remember which ones it
McGraw-Hill
was.
is still working on it.
Okay, so
Sa-
there
Savas-
is hope
There is hope, yes,
because 3 have been,
right.
So I have, go ahead.
And I think the committee reviewed, and
Right.
Debbie Mann said that was her choice.
Right.
I mean, it was good.
And-
She did a great presentation. Like, I
Right.
think that was.
Right.
Are we going to be getting other subjects similar to that presentation?
Yes, we did language arts
right.
with Mackenzie Bertram. We did math. We can have Cindy come and do science if you would like.
Yeah, I thought those were helpful for me.
Right,
To
like,
kind of.
like a social studies, you
But
know.
what's the next adoption?
The next
Social-
adoption is social studies.
Yeah, I
Right, I
thought
thought
those
that was
So I would think
presentations.
that would be the one.
Yeah.
But we don't have any information on that right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
and we're gonna have to be very strategic in how we do that as well, because we may be in the same type of situation, because
Right.
because when the adoption process starts, which will probably start, I think November is when that process starts. We won't have a list of books from the state, and we'll be looking at books that we're not sure are going to be approved or not. And we all know that social studies is going to be.
Oh, no, it's going to be a hot.
Ooh, that's gonna be a hot mess.
That's going to be a hot mess for real. That's, you might as well just get ready.
It
You might as well get ready for no books. I'm just saying, like, that's
Okay.
going to be so hot.
So,
But that, I think those all are very helpful.
You said we normally adopt the curriculum in November, so is that when we should expect a social studies presentation?
We start a process in
Process.
November.
Okay,
So, and it's a process that goes all the way through April and then has to be board approved after April, like we've done this year, April. And then, once it's approved, there's the ability for public comment on it. And then we order books in May and June.
So you're looking, what, 2 years?
We're looking at a year.
I was thinking that too, like, okay, so
It's
would it
There is
be-
also the option to not adopt the first year too, until we know more what's going on, so.
my question, and if you have the information, please, so we said some of these books, we didn't purchase them because they align more with Common Core, am I correct in saying that? So,
And that, I mean, there were two reasons. It was they contain materials that were aligned to CRT, or they were not as closely aligned to best standards as the state wanted them to be.
okay, fantastic. So I think that was the big elephant in the room is, okay, we've heard of a math book with these controversial questions, at least I have. And I think that was the reason why it got brought up, like, why are we banning a math book? And
Yeah.
that was the big question with the public. And so I've seen screenshots of some of these books. Now, and if Scott, if you know the answer, please, was that a McGraw book you said, or the book that more aligned with the CRT questions that you said were probably inappropriate?
I wouldn't say they were inappropriate.
Okay.
but, I don't think we had anything
Okay.
in McGraw-Hill that was CRT related.
Okay.
Where does the process start as far as the book comes in? What's the first line of defense as far as reviewing? Is there I assume that there's some kind of protocol with the standards, checklist, it checks this, it checks this, it checks this?
There is a protocol, and the protocol is on the webpage. If you go to the webpage, and I can show you all this, go to the webpage, and then scroll down to where you see the icons and hit instructional materials. And then this is everything that's also in your packet tonight in regards to requesting a curriculum review. And then instructional adoptions, there are links here and the timeline, there are links here that take us to all that.
So you can spend a day on this.
You could.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about, though. I feel like I need to in order to even remotely be able to contribute in an educated way. Otherwise, I'm just
So
guessing.
the library stuff, right, is a different committee or no?
The library stuff is a committee that is being formed to look at questionable books.
So
It's a whole,
how come these 5 committees are not part of that? Is it because they're media books
Yes, it's a.
and it's not?
it's a
curriculum?
choice.
It's not part of curriculum.
This is our common viable curriculum.
Okay.
So before we start getting to the challenging material, so I have one last question with the math adoption, and if you guys have any last questions, feel free to input. Are we going to see anything with math come back to us in the near future? Do we know this at this time?
We can continue to give you updates on where we are. I mean, if they become approved, I think we're going to go ahead and adopt.
Okay.
And y'all have already seen and approved, or I don't know if you approved, but.
We
Go
agree.
ahead.
We
You
liked
agree.
it.
We liked it, yeah, she was.
I think the one thing that Debbie Mann had told me at one point was, and I've been through several textbook adoptions as a district person, and I know this for myself, that you look at all the books, but the most pieces that you look at is the teacher planning piece, the tools, the supplementary tools that go with it. But to sit down and read the book and read all those word problems, there's not enough time to do that.
That makes sense.
And so,
Who's doing that? Is that the new committee?
The new
A new committee to a new committee.
That's why they need the robots.
There is usually a teacher from every school, from every level who is involved in that committee.
So that's my next question. Where are the teachers?
teachers are
They're
inter.
And is that on the website under
Yes,
this?
it
That-
is.
Because
It-
that's the
it
part I'm
will-
curious
It will
about.
give you all the information about the makeup of the committee.
Perfect.
Because that's in statute too.
Yeah, you gotta follow,
there's no-
follow that process.
For the adoption.
For the adoption.
But back to
But
your
I'm happy to hear
point,
that there's teachers involved.
yeah, but back to your point, as a teacher, I'm gonna be looking at the teaching material, et cetera. So is there like a parent or just community people on that committee too? That could probably closer look at what the textbook actually says? While the teacher is concerned about making sure, you know, which they should, that's a lot for them to try
No,
and
those
take
appointed
in.
positions, or those I apply and see if I get it, in the senses.
Oh, so teachers have to apply for that?
So, this, again, it's a new committee. Are they being appointed by the school board, or they have to apply first? Is there?
I
is
think
there-
we had information on that, the books, right?
She does, there is I think they put out an email requesting volunteers to be on the, so it is.
I saw
it-
something. Volunteers. You did say that last time.
Okay, I didn't get it, so that was my question. All right. Do we have any other questions in regards to the math adoption?
No, I think that's gonna be a game changer. I like that,
All right, y'all.
practical math.
Scott, if you have any other information to send to the committee, we'd greatly appreciate it. But at this time, we're just going to move to the next agenda item, all right, y'all? So next, this is the fun one. This was very, this
I haven't
was,
seen any of the material, like,
so I personally
So,
sat
we
through the
need to
last,
start with
I personally sat through the last school board meeting, and it was very interesting to hear.
to me, too.
Challenge to instructional and library.
The three of us.
oh, you wrote, okay.
So, item number 5 on the agenda is challenge to instructional and library material process. So, the school board, the school board at the last meeting was briefed by the superintendent that there is a process to go about challenging material in the libraries, the books, and there's it's a formal process here that we have in the packet and that we have in front of us here today. From my understanding of the last school board meeting, nobody has filled this document out whatsoever.
Nobody's filled out that document or the instructional materials request for a review. This button here at the top. And you click on that.
So is that, like, as soon as you go to the school board's website, or do you have to hunt for it?
It's very easy. I can take you back to there. I can take you back to where it
Better
is.
on a,
Phone.
no, on a computer.
Oh.
It's very, I mean, I can navigate it pretty well, but I'm on it every day looking at lunch. I find it to be a very difficult website on a phone.
So
So this does have to do with us because
Yeah, that
this is
definitely-
you get the
curriculum.
homepage and you scroll down. You just scroll down to the bottom and you see this.
You'll see those.
You see these icons here. And then it says right here, it says instructional materials. It's a book with an apple on top of it. You just click on that and it takes you to that page.
So is there any, like, so I find it hard that we haven't gotten like a legit complaint from people as much as like the math book stuff they're all up in arms about that we haven't gotten any.
arms about the library.
Should there be a post?
I was gonna say, is there anything social?
Like a social media
that
post where
can,
they're like, hey-
link-
I don't think, I personally don't believe that parents
No.
know that
This-
piece is there.
Does it
And
warrant
that
a
we
social
really
media post,
exist.
like an email blast or something that
I
says,
think it
hey,
should be social. I mean, most of us are
They don't know,
scrolling.
that's the whole thing, they don't know yet.
See, that's what I'm saying, like,
so for we go now to the public that doesn't know what's going on. Now we're putting a big email blast or a big social media post saying,
And so now they're gonna wanna know what's going on,
which, of course, they should be informed.
which is
yeah,
good.
that's good.
That is a good thing to do.
So I wouldn't
Informed of
say,
what, though?
Of
That is-
the process. And now they're gonna start asking questions, why is there a process to begin with?
so when you click on that button, right, what is that, is it titled? Challenge?
Instructional materials. And then when you get to the instructional materials page, you have the first button over to the right is request for a curriculum review.
So I think that's the message, right?
And then if you go to the bottom, down here, it is instructional materials, challenges, policies, and procedures. And that's that form that you have, that's that 6-question form that you have
So-
in your packet.
I would never get to the bottom, but if I clicked on the button, if I clicked on the button that says challenge,
If you click on the button that says request a curriculum review, that takes you to two text boxes. And it says what's on your mind, because it goes through remind, and there's a subject
what's
and a description.
above before you get to that?
That is request a curriculum review, subject to concern. In the description, please provide grade level content area in school.
Oh, it's just like giving them instructions.
Now, is that for the library or for the curriculum?
No, this is for us.
This is for the curriculum.
For the curriculum review. And then
But then this form is for library material.
Yeah,
that
Yeah, 'cause I'm
form,
looking at the librarian for the.
yeah, that's the confusion.
So why are we discussing the library?
No, somebody asked,
Someone asked.
legit.
Oh, someone
Someone asked,
that.
and this
Okay,
committee
okay.
asked for that. That's a
So
legit.
it's really not part of our.
Agreed.
it is not part, but I wanted
So
y'all to
glad we're
have the
getting to the-
information.
Okay, yeah,
That-
yeah.
Okay,
I think that's great.
because someone asked, so that makes sense. But I think, and maybe we can request as a committee, that I do think the community should know, whether it's bringing them aware now or et cetera, that we exist and how you get to that form. And
And I think Dana has done a remind message, a district-wide blast, but maybe
So-
she can do that again.
so I get remind, and it's just a lot of reminds. I mean,
Should it be something that we remind the school board, or?
I actually think that the
attention
school
to
board has a social media following, a social media post, and I think it should be a post, but that's just my personal.
So we're not, we can make a motion. Our motion could be.
No, I mean, just, maybe we can make a motion that the school board promotes it more, because otherwise we're gonna be sitting here talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Correct.
I think it's important, should that even proposal be drawn, that it is very clear that it is curriculum questions, not
Right.
Thank
the
you.
talking
Not the
points of the
overall
library
thing,
thing.
yeah.
Not
Because
the-
it will get lost in that,
Yeah.
I can
It
tell you
will.
right now.
So I actually think it should be just general, right? All this talk about books, et cetera, we know there's a process, and maybe you sent out a remind blast, but people are on social media talking to their neighbors, and they read something on social media, and they're telling the next person on social media. So remind is good for the people that are engaged in remind, but a lot of parents and people are not, if you don't have kids in the school, you don't get remind, right?
No.
No, they're,
Oh,
So the people that are really talking about it are like community leaders
How'd you get
that are
here?
going out talking to people that may or may not have a remind alert.
Debbie, I have Miss Ruby taking the notes for this meeting right now.
Amazing, thank you.
So you see what I'm saying? So remind may be good for the people that are in the school, but she's going out talking to people in the community that may or may not be on your remind blast or,
Right.
so it's just hopefully get the right message out, and so that people that really have concerns can stop talking about it and.
Right, but again, I feel like you're overlapping the two concerns.
Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about the talking point right now of the library books and that,
Okay.
which is very different
True.
than this
Right.
curriculum.
Right.
And to confuse those,
Yeah,
that will
true.
be a whole lot of red tape of people trying to sift through
yeah.
what is actually curriculum concerns.
That's true.
I mean, the irony is, 7th grade curriculum, to my knowledge, they're not even required to read a book. A full book. It's all short reading blips.
That's the other
So,
problem we have.
and so there's the confusion of,
Oh.
we want this book out of there.
You worry about a
It's-
book and they're not even.
They're not
obligated to
even
read it.
reading a book in the curriculum. They're reading short stories,
And passages.
short passages, and
with the best standards, that's gonna change with because there are state
Books, yeah.
books that, and they're classic type.
Yeah, they're bringing back more novels and
They
literature.
need
because that's the biggest thing I hear from
Yeah.
teachers.
Someone gave us like a whole, or offered it to us, right? She wasn't here, that might be, like you offered us that best standards.
Mackenzie did. Bertram did provide the state standards, the best standards.
Yeah. Don't.
I bring that up because
That makes
teacher
sense.
friends of mine that teach middle school, and they say to me, we don't think parents realize children are not reading books in school. That we are not, the curriculum does not allow for us to have a full novel. And I mean, I remember hating it in middle school, but we still did it. So and I'm not even sure parents realize that kids are not reading full books in middle school. That's not part of their curriculum.
But it will.
Whether they want it or not,
will.
it's,
Okay, but they will, which is why I think the book issue is being hot.
well, the books that are
So we're
talking
talking, we're
points are
talking
not
about-
They're
going,
talking
they're
about-
not going in the
They're just in the
curriculum.
library.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the libraries.
So your kids.
They're
just
never
take
gonna
out
get
of
on the
there, like,
curriculum.
if
They
want
never-
to.
No,
Yes.
they will never get
Curriculum.
into.
They're never, and they never would have because they're not, so it's,
So much
Who's
stuff.
ordering the books, though? That's my
That,
question.
yeah, that's,
My question is, how did, okay, let's say this book just came out 2 years ago. Who in the last 2 years ordered the book, put it in the library?
So, but I think it's the same thing that she described, right, with the math book. We're looking at the plan. The librarian is probably just like, I read a summary of what the book is about. I didn't go in and look at every picture in the book.
yeah,
but there's
we
a
need
process
to
for
get-
getting approval.
Yes, there is a process for getting approval. And books get into the library in many different ways, too. I mean, back in the day,
You donated.
when
Donation.
SACS accreditation was how we were accredited, there was a book minimum, a number of book minimum that you had to have in your media center to become accredited, and
We would always say,
and
give us
then-
books.
then there were donations. I mean,
Just give us books.
there were donations.
So-
And-
And the problem is when you, because every one of the books that they're complaining about, I've actually had in my hand. Well, I've looked at the back of the book and I hand it to my husband. I go, read the back, read the book jacket. And he reads it and I go, that sounds exactly like something you'd want to read when you're in middle school and high school, right? And he goes, yeah. And then I go, read that page. And he goes, ooh, I'd really like to read. Like, thank you, Becky, can I take that? He goes, there's no clue. And they'll have award-winning seals on them. And when you look up the reviews, they say they're written for youth and young adults.
something
And
has changed in the
then-
system, that's what
And
the problem is.
then
So, right, the
50
librarian.
Shades of Grey pales in
Yeah.
comparison to what's in them.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
So there is no master database that says these are acceptable, this is the age range. That would be, I don't expect
No, because
somebody
when
to
you
read
pull
every
them
single
up,
book.
it says
It says-
youth and young adult. Like if you do an Amazon book review or anything like that.
It's standards.
And I've even looked up Amazon, looked up some of the book titles to see what it says, and it won't tell you that there's anything explicit in the book. That's what,
But again,
Not
that
us,
is
yeah.
choice material in the library.
Yeah.
That's not for this.
But is this
Right.
anything
No,
really
it-
new, though?
Right, it's,
It's not.
there's a separate process
yeah,
and there's a
yes.
separate
oh,
committee
the,
that's.
hey, the books they've been reading out loud, they weren't in the library when we were checking books out of the
course
I was
not.
library.
in school 10
Of
years
course
ago. I
not.
was in high school 10 years ago.
Uh-uh.
I'm a
Yeah,
little
those
younger
books
than
were
y'all.
not there.
No,
That
they
happened-
were
that happened
not.
lately.
So you think the librarian,
Lately.
like how?
I'm not
yeah.
saying the librarian, she's getting a kick out of this. I'm just saying,
Something is happening.
as Mr. Flowers said, that there is a multiple
Is it
ways
just-
of the books. can
Because
get
they're
in.
not in
I have a
every
question.
library,
I
they're
was
hit or
just
miss.
about to ask
This
that.
book will be in these three,
Okay.
and this book will be in these five, and some of them will overlap schools and some of them won't.
And then other ways books get in the library is book fairs they have leftover books. The book fair will
leave
just,
them.
they'll just leave them.
And there's no vetting process whatsoever.
They just say, thank you very much for these brand new books.
It's, we're school, we're public school, we're public school, we're getting free donations.
And they're
Yeah.
new books.
And again, parents go to book fairs too, and they're not gonna think something
Yeah.
that
I would-
has been
So
read
I
out
don't know
loud.
if these books are at the Scholastic Book Fairs,
Because I would be concerned if they were actually at the little
At-
book
at
fair
the
that you give
book
your
fair,
child
that-
$5 to go in
Yes.
and pick any book and you
Yes.
get saved.
Well, they also, the Scholastic Book Fairs are designated for the age with which.
The age at
so
school,
They
yes.
don't have a book that's dedicated, that is designated young teen in the K
At the
through
elementary,
5.
yeah, the elementary
It's
book
all-
fairs.
It's Harry Potter, it's Diary of a
Makes
Wimpy
sense.
Kid.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
Star Wars Paper Planes.
Hungry Caterpillar.
Hungry Caterpillar, yeah.
yes.
So there is some, it's not just a free-for-all as far as that.
So my question, and I'll direct it to Scott. So let's say, for example, we go watch a movie tonight. There's a rated G, PG, 13, rated R. And are books rated on the same level, or is it just by genre? It's a genre, we classify it as adult, teen.
It says young reader, right?
But there's no
But you
board
can't-
that says this is what this is rated.
I found a website the other day, I'd have to look on my phone.
One moment.
Okay,
I just want this question answered real quick.
Michelle Jarrett would be better to answer that question. That's,
Okay, so, Debbie, go
But
ahead.
there is a website where you look up the title of the book and you do the movie comparison rating, and they will give you the rating. And the majority of these say, if it were a movie rating, would be NC-17, unrestricted, explicit, unrestricted, because we've looked up the titles on the website that compares them to a movie rating.
Which people are familiar with.
So my only thing is who's governing that board that oversees that? When I'm saying there is
I
no
don't know. That's
standard,
just
that
a-
could just be any website just
Yes,
gave
I don't
hey,
know. I'd have
it's
to go
my-
back and look at what it was.
It's my opinion, and to give my opinion to this committee, I'm very much in favor of looking at books as a whole context. But some of the things that have been brought up, no matter what context it's in,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be for minors.
so the purposes of
Right.
our meeting
It's
Right.
not that.
and
It's
is,
not that.
we will
Correct.
not, we will
Yeah.
not,
Right.
we will not find anything in our curriculum materials
Right.
because they're vetted before they go into the cups. And,
Those are just choice materials. Our library is just choice. It's not.
And at the end of the day, we
Required.
all have the form. If you're speaking with neighbors or
Yeah.
friends that have the concern, here is the form.
And they will pull
You
it out,
actually
they
have
will
to
do the
read the book in
investigation.
order to do the form,
Right.
which I think is important.
So I think it is the consensus of this committee that our recommendation is to re-advise the school board to do some type of campaign, whether it be social media, email blast, to advise the public that
We exist.
this exists, us as a curriculum.
Curriculum.
For curriculum.
Curriculum exists,
and how to get to the request a curriculum
Yeah.
review
Yeah.
if you have an issue with something that's in your child's curriculum.
Yeah.
fantastic, yes, and now this library form, that was the one that was brought up at the school board meeting, correct?
Right.
Yes.
This is the one nobody's filled out yet, correct?
Mr. Bass shared that.
I was about to say, that's for this library committee.
That's for them.
I'll keep it because if a neighbor or a fellow parent in my school says, these books, here's your form.
Right,
Buy the book, read it, and here, fill out all your legitimate concerns, that's it.
that's it, yeah.
Because
There is a
honestly,
process.
if they really want, I don't think coming to the school board, yeah, it brings attention to there's an issue, but if you really want your neighbor or this committee or that committee to dive into it as community, then just go through the process.
Well, and before I came here, I figured this would come up, not realizing the differential between the curriculum versus this, knowing that the book hoopla is a choice situation. But I Googled, are there actually banned books in Florida right now? And the reality is that's why we have to have this, because it's it's just talking points as of right now. We don't want our children exposed to this. Okay, but what is this? Give titles, give meat and potatoes. And if you don't have titles and you don't have the substance of the book, then it's just talking points.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Daniel.
No, go ahead, sir.
As our school board attorney said the other night, it's important that we follow the process that's
Right.
in place
100%.
because that will
Yep.
No doubt.
that will take us down the path that we need to go, and the books will be reviewed.
And it's
A
factual.
determination will be made, and
The
that's
facts.
and that's the legal perspective that he brought and showed us the other night as well. So.
But can I have a question, I have to clarify
One
this.
final question, yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to ask this question. So, as far as the library books, who's overseeing? Isn't still the school that's overseeing the
At
books,
this moment.
right? So, this is why the parents are coming and complaining, this is why I get complaining, and
But they have to complain with this.
I understand, but that's been done now. Prior to, there was no form that we knew of.
Ah.
Mr. Flowers,
Melanie,
can you
to answer your
Yep.
question,
There's a form
there is a
in there.
district process, and it's in district policy, and you've got that copy, you've got a copy of that policy in your notes. And then they are, each individual media specialist reviews books as well.
Okay.
So this form is new?
That form is that form is from 2000.
That we knew of, I guess. It was never brought
The
to
school
the-
library material one?
Well, because it's a
I knew
talking
it.
point.
Exactly.
The community, the people
But-
didn't know the process.
Okay.
But did
It says
anyone?
2000 on the bottom right, where it says Appendix A.
Yeah.
It says June of 2000.
Again, these issues were never brought up in the school boards.
We didn't have these kind of books probably.
Exactly, exactly.
I
No, I
mean-
think controversial books have always been around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, since we're almost there on time, y'all, I wanna, if you guys have anything else to say, I'll be the last one to speak, but.
I just think that we need to get to doing our business.
That's right. So, in my final comments, I'll take a point of privilege and give some final comments on this agenda item. We are the Curriculum Advisory Committee. If certain books are in our curriculum and being made to be read, then I would say bring it to us. This library, it says 2000, it's 22-year-old document. It's been addressed to the public already by our school board. We leave it at that. If they want to do another committee that deals with that, that's fine. I want actual issues like, let's implement X, Y, Z in our curriculum to be brought to this committee going forward. So do I have any more questions in regards to that?
Is that why there's two forms? One is to take to the school and one is the district? Okay.
One is the request for review, and one is what the committee uses to,
Oh, okay, so the people requesting, they don't fill that out?
no,
But they
nobody
can see
feel-
what they're gonna be reviewed under.
if there is a request to have the book looked at, you fill out those 6 questions, and that's it.
So you were asking about the process of who's vetting the books. This is the form that would help you.
Right.
So do we have a form for our committee?
That was,
For curriculum?
We have this, we have the Remind
online.
one.
Oh, so they don't have an electronic version?
They don't have they have old school PDF.
so again, this deals with library.
Trying to
It's
figure-
not us.
Right, right.
No, I was just trying to compare apples to apples.
Look, I completely understand.
Because I like the idea that you get to fill out the form and you can see what the committee is going to be reviewing on. I think that's pretty
Is
transparent.
there a curriculum, I'm sure it's pages long, checklist when they are trying to adopt a new curriculum?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. It's on that page. If
It
you want
is,
to go look
okay.
on that page,
I'm sure
there.
it's,
Long.
yeah.
Because there's state statute, there's district policy, there is makeup, there is makeup of committee, there is timeline for committee, it's all there.
Any other questions, y'all?
Off the top of your head, how many textbook manufacturers are like, are there like 6 that are the standard that people go to?
So like you say, McGraw is the first.
I mean, I even knew that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, my girl's like, oh.
Probably.
When we
only
did our,
60
I was on the math adoption committee and there were 5 companies that came
So,
in.
not many.
Gave us their sale pitch.
Okay.
Their sales pitch.
There's always alternatives.
But 5 major
And,
players.
well, 3 of them I had heard of before. 2 of them were newer companies I'd never heard of before.
Okay,
And I've been teaching 16 years, so.
okay.
I only know.
So Debbie, I gave kind of a math adoption update in regards to what we're doing. We've ordered the McGraw-Hill secondary materials with a couple of exceptions, and we're on hold for the K-5 McGraw-Hill at this point until we get better information as to what the McGraw-Hill appeal looks like to the state.
Was that the original one that the committee selected, the teach schools at large selected was the McGraw-Hill one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was called Reveal?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, beautiful. So I think we all came to consensus. All right, next agenda item, date for the next meeting. All right, so do we know of anything coming to June? Because I think the consensus at the last March meeting was let's not meet just to meet, just to talk. Is there anything that is time sensitive that needs to come to us in the next month or two, sir?
Not at this point.
So I have a question, just a general question. So library books are kind of the hot item, and you guys may know since you go to the school board meetings, at some point, and I'm guessing, which is why this committee was established, those people were yelling about curriculum, right? At some point?
I think they're yelling more about the books.
No.
No, it originally started with curriculum and it was in the cups.
Okay. So where are those people and where were their issues? Because I thought we were going to be like hitting the ground trying to review those because people were complaining at school board meetings, yelling like they are with these.
Well, it started, and I've gone to all the meetings, I think it just started, this was, CRT was the hot topic.
But I thought it was like specific, they were doing the same thing. They were like pointing at,
They're like, we don't want our children indoctrinated, we don't
I
want.
thought there was like screenshots and all kinds of
Yes.
those fake screenshots.
No?
Were they in the school screen?
I don't know anything about any screenshots.
Are you talking about the political cartoons and things like that? No, they weren't screenshots because I printed them off my laptop.
Okay, so were those books being taught in the curriculum in Osceola County?
Yes.
And so why did they not fill out this form to get to this committee?
Because it wasn't from books, it was actually from the reading curriculum. So the reading, instead of having like, remember, we used to have like a reading book, and we would read our passages and answer questions. Well, now, instead of getting like a reading book, every week the students get almost like a little newspaper booklet, and that's kind of what they read from. And there's articles and passages and questions
Where
and
does that
stuff.
come from?
And so our reading curriculum is called Benchmark Advanced. And so at the beginning of the year, it's all shipped in boxes and it's delivered. It was, went through a process just like the math adoption, and so it's the reading curriculum. And I don't know what they're gonna do about it next year, because the articles are still in Benchmark as far as I know. And
So you see
with the
my
new
question?
legislation, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that, because there were entire booklets printed from the company, and they were part of the cup.
So I was like.
Middle school?
No, it was elementary
We were
school.
gonna come and we're gonna be reviewing all this.
Curriculum unit
Unit
plans. So basically, the lesson plan that the district makes up for the teachers to
And I
follow.
think that what she's talking about and what went through the school board, correct me if I'm wrong, was, that's how we came to be.
Yeah.
They
That's how-
needed,
that's
So I thought we were gonna hit the ground and be like, let's review what these people in the community have
Yes.
been
And
Yeah, we
yelling.
still haven't,
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Even
saying, I don't
looked
want
at
to
it.
be
There's
just the
not
meat.
been any requests, there's not been any requests to review the curriculum. Now, I think
So
the
that's why-
political cartoons, didn't they come from Core Connection?
they came from Core Connections, which is a writing company that we use for our writing instruction for Osceola County.
For you guys that are in the community, can we get someone to fill out the form? Because like, I was ready to like, oh, these people have been yelling for weeks. And so they set up this committee and we're going to look at what they look at.
I thought we were gonna be looking at controversial things from day one, and it's,
So I'm a little lost with that. And now it's the same thing, right? It's because they didn't fill out a form, but.
Is there a curriculum review form like the
See, no one
library
knows
form?
that. Yes, no one knows that.
yeah, it's on the, it's
No one knows that. So
we're getting confused with the library form.
My question is, why didn't that come up at the board meeting that,
So my
The
request
superintendent
is-
has done board updates, and she has done this 3 times. She has showed
Yeah.
the.
No, I think I've heard it was on the
There's a lot-
webpage, I get
talking
it,
points
but
versus
when you
action.
say,
Debbie, what we were saying is that
It's not
for
promoted.
curriculum, libraries aside, that for curriculum.
They have to go on
need
there.
They need to publicize that.
And
where
it's not
it is
promoted.
Right.
On some kind of social media.
well, but
or
he's saying
something.
the superintendent talked about
So the
it 3 times.
superintendent talked about it
board
3 times
meeting.
at a
That's
board
if
meeting
you're at
that
a
no
board
one's
meeting.
watching.
Yeah,
the
how many
community.
people
But if you cared enough to show up to the board meeting and you're up here speaking publicly, you would think that person would have taken that information.
I'm with you.
That's just my
110%,
thought.
But I think.
Yeah, you would think.
I'm with
Because if
you.
you care enough to come down here
That's why I'm
and show
like,
up to
where are these
complain about a
people?
curriculum, and they tell you what to do and you don't do
So
it,
that's why
that
I'm like,
doesn't
I
add up
was
to
hearing
me.
about like this committee got established because there was a lot of people complaining about curriculum. We have that form and then none of those people completed this form, so.
So,
And I'm not shocked that people complain about stuff and don't follow through.
so
Like, that's
with-
not my shock.
With the time permitted, Scott, can you relay the message to Dr. Pace or the school board, whoever you need to, that this committee feels that we have not been given the appropriate material since the establishment of this committee? We feel like there were topics that should have been brought to us and they haven't been
So
brought
I
to
wouldn't
us.
agree with that.
Okay. Maybe I'm wording it incorrect.
So I wouldn't agree with that. I think we're getting exactly what we should be getting is nothing because,
No one's filling out the form.
exactly.
Okay.
So
It's all
what
the
I will do
form.
is I will take back that we need to publicize the form better as
Broader.
to where it is, how it is, and that sort. I can do that.
And
In
how
in
soon-
layman's terms too, not like it's 10 pages and here's if you have an issue, here's a link that gets me right there. Don't tell me to go to the school board and then click on this tab and that tab.
And
Layman's term.
how soon
To
can we
be fair,
be?
that's pretty straightforward. And if a person knows enough to research when the school board meeting is and bring it up.
It's more complicated than that.
You're being practical, you're being way too practical.
You're assuming
Yeah.
that all parents are savvy when
In
it
the
comes to
computer, yeah.
computers.
Exactly.
And that they understand how to get from one thing to another and not.
Everybody-
What I'm assuming is that someone that's
My
passionate.
mother's, she's.
Yeah, I deal with those.
No, but you're right.
But
Someone
I-
that comes and
what I'm
complains to a
assuming,
school,
that's
yeah.
because I am also not tech savvy, but I can tell you that when I am passionate about something, and so that anyone that is passionate enough, and it does require a certain amount of passion to show up to the school board meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
But
right.
if they come and they have a very specific complaint about a cartoon that their child brought
Right,
home,
right.
that in and of itself
I agree.
warrants a level
Right.
of
How many
savviness.
grandmothers do you have raising children?
Exactly.
But are they showing up? Are they having?
Yeah,
meetings?
But they
Yeah.
speak, and they're concerned.
So, okay, so like, if that
So then maybe
grandmother's,
we need a person that they
Exactly.
can.
Katie, one last comment, because we're over right now.
it's
So,
fine.
no, go ahead.
So maybe what needs to be brought to Dr. Pace is not that we need to advertise it more, because if they're not computer savvy, advertising it more is not going to make them more computer savvy.
No, but it still
Maybe
needs
there
to be
needs to be
advertised
a
more.
target person that if somebody comes to a grandmother that is not computer savvy on the website or something of that concern, if they show up here, instead of just saying, you just need to go to the website.
Correct.
Maybe there needs to be a point person that then can walk them through, because that's actually solving the problem, but us just telling her you need to advertise it more is not really changing any of the behavior that's
So
already
I
happened.
think
She's already
it
advertised
needs to
it.
be advertised more broader for, maybe I don't have an issue today, but now I know if I have an issue.
Yeah.
So it's not just for the people that are ready to get in now, but it's also for me, who I bump into a lot of people. I have neighbors, so now I don't go to the school board meeting, but now I seen this on the website, so I put it in my bank, and you can put it in your bank, so if you bump into, or if you ever have an issue, now you know. And then I agree, because at our
Or a paper
meetings,
copy.
you know, they get ushered out to
Multiple
say.
options.
Yeah, paper
If
copy.
it's not 25 pages.
But how
I mean, it
soon,
shouldn't be 25 pages.
So, I mean, you
It's-
have a
it's 2
pile
text
at
boxes.
board meetings, if they're coming with a specific concern, here's the paper.
how soon,
If
Fill
they're
it
not-
out and
If they're not
drop it.
computer savvy.
Yeah.
how soon will we be notified if something is submitted?
So
Have to see what the process
it would be
is.
immediately, because, I mean, no one's submitted yet.
Right, so, okay, so that's a,
It would
that's
be-
a great
it
question,
would be at
because
our
what
next
if
meeting.
something comes through over the summer?
Do we want,
That's the
I'm just
question, yeah.
asking a question.
So my biggest thing is how soon and how severe of a topic is, how soon will we be notified and how severe of a topic do we need to have an immediate meeting as soon as possible, or? Because right now, we meet once a month on the first Thursday. Right now, I'm not thinking we meet on June. I was gonna say, let's not meet in June. Now, in the middle of July, it might be something completely different we're talking about in the middle of summer, something that gets brought up
So,
politically.
off topic, but since you were involved in like the curriculum and this whole thing at the school board, is it because they didn't know this forum existed? That there was no like formal complaint other than coming to the school board and all the social media
That's
buzz?
exactly right. I've been at the meetings, and that's what.
Okay.
Yes, and originally that wasn't there when they first came.
Right.
Okay, but it's been up for how long?
since we've been established,
Since this committee's been
Yes.
established. So I'm just curious, is there something that we don't see that is a hindrance? Like, if you guys have any insight that we could tweak or do something? Because I'm kind of,
A lot
I'm-
of it, it's just, I think it's people are shocked.
I'm
at
leaning
what they
towards
found
Katie
out.
too, as
And
far
it's
as if you're
talking.
passionate,
Now we're
like,
getting through
if
the
I'm passionate, I'm
process.
gonna read and look, I'm just gonna call and have somebody show me where it's at. Or
But I
tell me
think a
what the
paper
process-
copy, if that's even an option, if it's a short enough form,
Yeah,
some
that'd be
people
good.
operate better old school pen and paper.
Can they just show up to this front office and say, hey, I need a form, I want to submit
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it gets to the right
For
person.
those people that are yelling at them every week about the books, just say, you can go in the back, we have printed copies, you can fill it out before you leave and drop it in a box, or either or.
Some of them already know from the last meeting. They know there's a form, there's
Oh,
a
okay.
process.
But
They talked
let's be
about it.
proactive, let's think about years to come, okay,
Exactly.
we have established something going
Yeah.
forward, where if something like this, happens again.
I mean, I feel like those people
I
that were
agree with the
yelling.
comment was like, oh, just don't, if somebody tell me, hey, just go online, you have to do it online, I would be pissed, I'm like, okay, I want to talk to
Exactly.
somebody, I want
Exactly.
to,
Right.
I want to fill
You
something
want-
out right now.
Yeah,
I came on this date, I dropped it off with this person, and I was told to put it at this box at this time and this date, not go to a website and then get
Right.
lost in the ether, that's the best way.
Yeah,
to
so
start.
it's like the
I
stuff that
can
was
propose-
online.
I can propose that
Yeah.
we have paper copies here up at the front desk, and
Yeah.
we do, let's make sure that gets in the minutes, because we'll do that. Also, starting in June, all of our minutes will be posted to the board agenda under a information item. We should have been doing that in the first place, but that's something that we're going to like what the Business Advisory Committee does. There's an agenda item and information for that. So our meeting minutes from the beginning to now will be posted in the board agenda.
And just maybe as another step, necessary or unnecessary, if someone takes the time to come and yell, they're passionate about it, right? Let me get your email address. We'll have one of our assistants email you and say, thank you for your time. You were complaining about library. Here's the link, here's the process. And that's like another, which I don't think is a lot, but
So,
Well, Dr. Pace, I will say, Dr.
does
Pace,
that? Okay.
sometimes,
even if it's not
if it's an issue, whether library or whatever, I've seen her for other issues, though, she will give that parent her business card.
so my last question.
that's good.
Katie brought up a great point. Should there be somebody that's, I know this is why we were established, but should there be a staff person who specifically takes that paper copy? I don't like the idea of getting dropped off in a Dropbox, but if you have concerns, you can email this person or you can set up a meeting with this person. I mean, I don't want to.
If you fill it out,
I mean,
out here, it'll go directly
It'll
to
go,
me.
yeah.
Okay.
If we also had paper copies here for board meetings.
I think
and
that's
if-
all.
If you, I mean,
If
if,
it's labeled curriculum review committee
Yeah,
and
I
it goes
think
to you,
that's,
then we would know
I think
that it
that's
was
enough, really.
for us to.
Yeah.
so that way, and we, I mean, I can make the recommendation also.
And then,
that-
like, if
that-
you're here as a
that
community
the
leader,
six-question
you can
form
stack.
be here, so when there's concern at a board meeting, hand them a form, let's fill out the form, and
And if I'm coming representing 5 of my neighbors, I'm gonna take 5 back with me, and so it just helps.
Well, now you know where it is on the website, so you can just help them.
Or most people just might wanna go
Yeah, no.
next door, right? She wanna go next door and hand out her form and have a
I'm the paper
conversation.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way you can have a conversation
I
and
like the
make
idea of
sure.
having a physical
Yeah.
form of
Yeah.
this, even during school board meetings. If you
Yeah.
have it, it's back there, grab a
Right.
copy, leave it with, I would say, I don't want to say Tanya, but just leave it here with staff and it will get addressed.
I guess it's not a secret, you just yelled at everybody what your issue is, so.
Okay?
No, I mean, it's you can lead a horse to water, and these are
And
all,
maybe
you have to
that's
give them the
something
tools.
that, Terry can do, is the person gets up and complains about something, and at
We
the
have a
end of the
resource.
3 minutes.
You go.
Instead of telling them to do it, go, here's a physical copy, I want to see you grab a copy, grab
And
it.
if you don't, like, I'm gonna tell you next time you
There's
show
a
up to the
form in the,
podium.
I think you should just
You were
say
here
there's-
last time I told you to do, I've not got anything submitted from you.
back there.
Or on the back table.
Yeah, just make it on the
Form
back table.
I think that's just a proactive way of handling, nipping it in
Yes.
the bud.
Yes, proactive, very.
I agree,
But
cause
back
otherwise,
to the last agenda item, date for the next meeting,
to be determined.
to be
Well,
determined. At this
I
point,
think go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm recommending July. I would make, I don't think we need to take this to a vote, but just a general head nod, are y'all thinking July instead of June? Because right now, I don't want to meet just.
Here's what I'm guessing. Unless the people that are yelling before, it's gonna be more likely August, because everybody's going on summer vacations and.
Well, I was thinking towards the end of July is what I was thinking.
So we voted that, we meet on the
yeah,
first
that's
Thursday.
true.
That was to be compliant with everybody's calendars.
We did.
So I don't want to change that. 'cause-
That's true.
Yeah.
And that would affect my job.
Oh, the first Thursday.
Yeah.
So the first Thursday in,
Not
first
July.
Thursday in July is, that's
That's-
4th of July
nobody's
week.
About the
No
first
one's here.
Thursday in August, that'll be before
Yeah, the
school
first-
starts, right?
I think the
So-
first of
It
August.
would make more sense to do first Monday in, or first
get a
Thursday
Is it
in
in August? The
Now,
4th?
Unless
3
we
months
get a
from now.
form.
So, August 11th, 12th, 4th?
Oh,
Well, y'all
it's
start the
early.
4th, right?
What's that?
Kids start on the 4th?
No. I think that's the first, that's the first Thursday.
Right.
Is August
When does
4th.
school
I think
start?
the kids
The
start
following week.
August 22nd.
Yeah, it's usually.
Okay.
It's usually.
August 22nd?
Yeah.
That's when it was this year. Let me look at my
No, it's
calendar.
much earlier than that. I want to say that it's the 11th.
I want to say it's the 11th.
Did they move it up?
It is the 11th,
That's
because pre-planning is the
That's the first.
4th, 5th, wait a minute. 4th, let's see, 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
And
Well,
then,
can't we just say the first
This is my
Tuesday?
grandkids.
Can't we just say the first Tuesday in August unless some.
Thursday.
First Thursday.
First Thursday is
Unless
here.
some,
Form comes in.
emergency meeting is called.
Okay, so
Be
Scott,
done with it.
I think that would be acceptable. As of this, today, what is today, May? What is today?
What's that day?
As of May 5th, 2022, let it be known that this committee won't meet until the first Thursday in August unless otherwise requested by the school board. School board or,
Committee, community, I don't know. I guess it's school board.
Right.
yeah, unless the,
Superintendent.
Or the superintendent.
Or the superintendent.
I don't think it would be the school board, I think it would be the superintendent, wouldn't it?
Right. So here's kind of a timeline in regards to curriculum at this point. We're starting, in fact, this week, the revision / tweaking of the cups. And the cups have been vetted over this year as they've been built, have been vetted. And so there's going to, we've been very sensitive to the content based on the previous, like the things that Debbie mentioned with the political cartoons and that sort of thing. That's not to say there's nothing there, because there's a lot of content. So the cups are being vetted, and the cups are being revised and tweaked. Math cups are being revised because we'll have a new math curriculum. Science cups are being tweaked and vetted and that sort of thing. If anything came up in the next couple of months, it would be during summer school, and because there's a new set of cups that are being done in summer school, but they should be vetted. So there might possibly be something that came up in regards to the common, or not the Common Core, but the common viable curriculum during summer school. But as a rule, this is the time for us to rebuild the cups or vet the cups or tweak the cups to where they'll be ready to go when school starts.
okay.
But if something comes up,
The superintendent will let you know, and you can just let us know.
but the August 4th date, if not,
Yeah.
would be,
I think that's,
would be reasonable.
So I got a head nod from everybody. Yes, we agree to August. All right, that's,
Speak to Tanya about call-in option. I will be in Virginia Beach.
so we do have the call-in option. We had that before for the person you replace. I'm not too sure how that
I'll
works.
speak with her about
The
it.
tech aspect of it, we remember we had the lady on the microphone on the speaker.
So
So,
is she no longer?
correct, so Miss.
Katie is her replacement, sorry.
Correct.
That's her.
No, you're fine. So Katie, so as far as I see, that is the last item on our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move.
Second? All right. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much for your patience with us today. Thank you.
Thank you for meeting.
I try my best.